Everybody, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I am so glad that you are here, y'all. Today it's like a summer day, but it's November. I'm in zone 7. If this is your first time landing on my channel, my name is Barbara, and today, y'all, I'm out here in the hot tunnel to come get some collard greens for Thanksgiving. It's our first harvest. They are ready. They've been ready. I just haven't been ready. So if you want to see my hot tunnel, if you want to talk about collard greens, you want to talk about Thanksgiving, if you want to hang out with me in the garden, then stick around. But before we even get into that, I have a special announcement. So I'm so glad to be able to announce that I am doing another Vego garden giveaway. Yes, cue the applause. That's right. So if you're new here, I actually did a Vego garden bed giveaway last week. We had a winner, but then I decided at the last minute to match Vego garden, right? And I also picked a second winner where I bought them a Vego garden bed out of my own pocket. The first one came from Vego garden, and that winner was Monique. And then I picked a second winner, Jarette, and she I paid for her to have a Vego garden elevated bed. As far as I know, I think Monique has already gotten hers, and hers should be on the way. She should get it no later than Monday. Okay. So anyway, now we have another Vego garden giveaway. So if you did not win in the first giveaway, you have a chance to go ahead and enter for this giveaway. Now, this giveaway is for a gift card of $300. So it's not going to be a bed. You actually get to pick and choose what you want. And obviously, if it's more than $300, you would have to take care of the difference. But I feel like $300 is a great sum of money to go ahead and get you something from Vego Garden Bed if you have been eyeing something. Y'all know, if you don't know, I'm a huge fan of Vego Garden. The majority of all of my metal raised beds, with the exception of one, so 99% of all my metal raised beds, with the exception of one bed, is all from Vego Garden. The quality is superior. The customer service, excellent. The workmanship, 100% great. The instructions on how to put things together, top notch. Now, y'all, these hands don't ever put anything together. But my husband and my daughter always put together my stuff, and they always say, man, it's so easy to follow. It's so easy to put together. So I'm so excited to give away a Vego Garden gift card. So here's what you have to do in order to win. First of all, let me tell you the dates of the giveaway. It starts today and it goes all the way until next Monday, I think December the 1st, whatever December the 1st is. So from today until December the 1st is the Vego Garden gift card giveaway. So what you have to do is subscribe to my YouTube channel. So if you're not subscribed, go ahead and click the subscribe button right now. And then also, I want you to subscribe to Vego Garden's page. You can go to Vego Garden on YouTube and go and like and subscribe to their page. And then the third thing that you need to do is you need to comment below this video and tell me which product are you most excited to get if you win the $300 gift card. I want you to put your comment down below, okay? That is the criteria. Now, last time you had to go to Instagram, and several of you told me, Barbara, I don't do Instagram. That's your business. So this time you don't have to be on Instagram. So I'm giving you another opportunity. There will only be one winner. Unless the spirit moves me a different way, it's only one winner. So don't count on me coming up trying to match Vego. I ain't gonna try to match them next week, okay? Unless the Holy Spirit says something different, okay? Right, so it's one Vego Garden gift card, $300. I will announce the winner next week. Okay, so again, I will talk about this again towards the end of the video, but let's go ahead and get to the business. Y'all, when I tell you it feels like summer out here, it feels like summer. It is 65 degrees, but the sun is brightly shining. And y'all, these plants are confused. They don't know. They like, wait a minute, where are my cousins, the tomatoes at? Because it's their weather. It's not our weather. These plants are so confused. They're growing beautifully. But y'all, in the back of my house, my garlic has already sprouted, which is not abnormal when you have temperatures like this. And neither is it a problem. So if your garlic is sprouting, because maybe you live in an area that is similar to me, and y'all, let's move over here. Let's get us some shade and maybe a breeze before we have to go in the tunnel, because it's even hotter in the tunnel. Even hotter in the tunnel. Let me see if I can somehow, man, if a breeze could come through right about now, that'd be great. Because when I tell you the sun is brightly shining, and I'm not complaining, it's November, we have beautiful weather. It's better that than cold. But I was saying, if your garlic has already sprouted, don't be alarmed. It's a-okay. It'll be fine. As soon as the temperatures drop, it will go back dormant, and then it will resprout or continue to sprout in the spring. If your garlic has not sprouted, don't be alarmed. It's going to be fine. Let it go through its period of dormancy during the cold, cold winter, and then in the spring, it will come forth like brand new gold. Okay, so don't worry if this is your first time doing garlic and you're like, mine's sprouting, what's wrong? Or it's not sprouting, what's wrong? Neither one of them is wrong. Just let it do its thing. Okay, so before I turn to the camera, I've been kind of walking around looking at all my fruit trees. Everything looks good. So if you didn't know, we had some fruit tree damage by, we think, deer. I did a video on that last week. I'll pop it up here if you want to see that and what we did to remedy the damage of the fruit trees and put some extra safeguards in place. Then I also went out here. You know, I have one elevated raised bed out here, and I told you in last week's video that a lot of my stuff, you know what? You might not have seen that video, but you're gonna see it. Okay, you're gonna see it. I shot it over a week ago, but I don't, at the time of this video, I don't think that you've seen it yet, but you will see it. But basically, let me just give you the spoiler alert. In my elevated raised bed out here, the frost took out a lot of my stuff. But when I came out here this morning, my anemones, which this is my first time ever doing anemones, I'm overwintering them. You know, I put them in the ground. They're supposed to come in the spring. They have already sprouted. Now, because I've never done this before, I'm like, are you supposed to sprout now? Are you still going to be okay in the spring? I don't know. So if you've done anemones before, let me know. Because I'm like, you getting on up there. And I didn't expect to see anything until the spring. So anyway, like I told you, the plants are confused, okay? Confused. And they're like, I'm not quite sure what's happening, but I'm just going to grow. And that's what they're doing. So I'm going to take you in the tunnel. The main goal today is to harvest collard greens so that we have them ready for Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is just a few days away at the time of this video. And so I hope that whatever your tradition is, I hope that you spend some time with the people that you love and the people that love you this upcoming Thanksgiving holiday. So let's go ahead and head in the tunnel. Oh, y'all, this breeze feels so good. Breeze feels so good. But let's go ahead and head in the tunnel so we can just get to the business. Because what I really want, even though it's a beautiful day out here, I'm just not feeling being out here all day in the garden. I'm just not. You know, sometimes it's like that. And I'll say another thing before we go in the tunnel. I was telling my husband that, you know, this time of the year, the fall and the winter, I've talked about this before, that as a gardener, to me, this is the best time of year to garden just because it is so hands-off. It is so less stressful than summer. And so I encourage you, if you did not grow a fall and winter garden this year and you never have, oh, goodness, y'all. I'm like, I'm seeing it on the camera and I'm like, is that on my phone or is that on me? That's on me. Ugh. What was I saying? Y'all, I had to go back to the video to see what I was even talking about. So we were talking about fall and winter gardening. My point is this, is that if you did not grow a fall and winter garden this year, then put it on your bucket list, not your bucket list, your list for next year to at least try it, y'all. It's so less stressful. I come out here no more than 3 times a week. Definitely 2 and maybe 3. And you know what? I'm okay with that. So because I've been on this reduced gardening schedule, we're not going to amp it back up. We coming out here to do what we need to do. We're checking on things. We're going to water the fruit trees that's in the tunnel. We're going to fertilize, and then we're going to take it on back in the house. So let's get to it. So if you're new here or if you don't know, your girl loves collard greens. And so I do an abundance of collard greens every fall and winter. And again, my goal, just like it is with any crop, is I try to grow enough to last me for a year until I can harvest, until I can grow and harvest that crop again. So a lot of times I will come out here and harvest my collard greens. Now these I'm gonna Well, all of these probably won't. Well, depends on how much we have. Obviously, some of these are earmarked for Thanksgiving, but as I continue to harvest collard greens, I bring them in, of course, wash them, cut them up, and then I put them in freezer bags and put them in my freezer, and I just pull them whenever I want to make collard greens. And so I'm always testing to see, okay, did I grow enough? You know, what's the deal? And I think I have 2 or 3 bags of collard greens left in my freezer. So you know what? Praise be to God. We are right on it, right on it. Those are collard greens that I did from last fall and winter. Now, because I have a high tunnel and because I start early, then I have a pretty long growing season of collards. So these collards that you see, the first set I put in the ground probably like the 1st of September. And so now it's the end of November. They're ready. They're good to go. And then the second set was probably a couple of weeks after that, and they're already ready as well. And so, you know, you cut the collard greens and they just continue to grow back. And I will keep collard greens in here until about April. Usually they will start to bolt right around then. And so literally I'll have a good 4 to 5 months of collard greens to harvest, which is plenty enough for us to eat. When I say fresh, to eat during the fall and winter, but also we'll have some left over, plenty in the freezer to last us until the next October, November, when I have collard greens again. So I talk a lot about that on this channel, is making sure that you're planning and that you're growing enough as much as possible to last you until you can do that crop again. So let's go ahead and get started. I have 2 sections where the collard greens are, and I got 2 baskets. Let's just start we're going to start with this set right here in the middle, which is actually the set that I planted last. But we're going to start with that because it's a shorter section, and let's see how many we get from that. Now, I was talking earlier about growing in the fall and winter and how it is definitely more hands-off. But you know, every season comes with its pros and cons. One of the things about gardening this time of the year, the crops that I'm particularly actually growing, there's a difference in terms of when I harvest them and bring them in the house, that I have to do something immediately with them. So like, for example, in the summer, when I'm doing tomatoes and peppers, those things can sit on my counter for days. Cucumber, squash, I don't have to do anything with it like right away. But when you're harvesting like collard greens, lettuce, kale, spinach, things like that, you can't just leave it on your counter. You have to do something with it, even if that means, you know, putting it in a bag and putting it in the fridge or something like that. Especially like things like these collard greens, like they will go limp or wilt pretty quickly if you were to leave them out on your counter like overnight. They would be limp, and so you want to bring them in and put them immediately. I usually do like in cool water just to kind of keep them fresh until I can do something with them. But I'm always doing something with them like pretty much that same day. Because if I leave them in the water in my kitchen, in cool water in the sink, then, you know, we can't really use that sink because it's full of collard greens. So that is a difference with the fall and winter. It's definitely more laid back in the fall and winter, but I find that when I harvest, I got to be able to do something with the crop. I can't just leave it on my counter like I can do in the summertime. So I'm starting in this middle section here. That's all collard greens in this middle section. After the cabbages you see. And so I'm just going to kind of go down the rest of this row and, you know, clean each plant off and get as much as I possibly can. And then I have a whole nother row that's 45 feet long of collard greens on the other side of the tunnel. So, and definitely I won't need all of those just like for Thanksgiving, but I have plenty that I can harvest. And so I'm just going to go row by row until we get them all done. So, and again, maybe I won't do all the collard greens today, because again, my goal is I'm just really doing this and with Thanksgiving in mind. It's not necessarily a harvest just to harvest, so to speak. So the one thing with the collard greens, as I'm cutting the collard greens, I'm just like cutting, you know, near the base. I start with the outer leaves and then work my way. And you can see that, y'all, these leaves are absolutely huge. They are so huge. But one thing that's beautiful about collard greens is that it's going to grow back within 2 weeks. And I would say maybe 3, these plants will be full again. So I'll just keep doing this from now until April, and we will just have collard greens, you know, being stacked in the freezer as well as eating them, as well. But the leaves are huge, as you can see, off of one plant. I'm probably getting, I would say, at least a good 15 stalks. The stalks are thick. The leaves are big. And as you can see, I'm just basically just giving them a haircut and just going all the way down and then just filling up my basket. You can see that basket number 1 is already up to the top, and we're just on, I think, plant number 3. Okay, y'all, I just did that side, and I got 2 big whopping baskets. Let's see. Oh, that was 8 plants. I got 2 baskets full. Y'all, it's hot out here. I cannot believe how hot it is. And of course, in this greenhouse, if it's 65 outside, it's probably like 85 to 90 degrees in here. And we don't have the shade cloth on, obviously, because we take it off during the fall and winter. And so the sun is like beaming down, which I'm so glad that nothing, I said the plants are confused. They're growing very, very well. I'm glad nothing is like thinking it's real summer and like trying to bolt. But y'all, look at these 2 big old baskets of collard greens that I got from 8 plants on that side right here. Let me see if I can turn you around and show you. You can tell there's a haircut back there. Y'all, I still have these, but I'm about to call it right here because my whole goal is to get some collard greens for Thanksgiving. And even though collard greens cook down, I think this is going to be enough. I'm going to actually take these in the house, wash these up real good, and chop them up and put them in freezer bags so that they'll be ready when I'm ready to cook. This is, at the time of this video, it's like a few days before Thanksgiving, almost a week. So I just want them ready, and I don't want to have to come out here and do it like the day before, the day of. But I still got a whole row of collard greens right there. And it's interesting how those right there on this side, I put those in the ground before, and I put these in the ground maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, and they're the same size as those, if not bigger. Now, in terms of the variety of collard greens I grow Georgia Southern, but I have grown all different kinds. I've grown Vates, I've grown Champion, and there's another one that I've grown. This is my favorite just because for me it's been 100% consistent over the last 4 years. It always produces well, and I like the taste, but I've had the other ones and they taste, you know, good too. This is just one. This year I decided to just go all with the same kind instead of mixing and matching, because I've tried all those, and then this is just my favorite. But whatever kind of collard greens you like, hey, go forth and conquer. But this is what I do, is the Georgia Southern. The leaves are really big, and y'all, for the most part, these greens are really, really clean. Let me show you. You can see how big this leaf is, and you can look at the back of it, like it's completely clean, meaning there's like no damage or bugs or poop or anything like that on it. And I would say 95%. I saw like 2 stems that had something on the back of them, but everything else as I was cutting looked very, very clean, which is great. Y'all, don't these look good? They look good to me, and they're going to be good 100%. So we're going to take these in the house and get them washed up. And what I do, because people have asked me, what do you do? Do you blanch them? So for me, I do not blanch my collard greens. And the reason why is because I know that I'm going to use them, especially these, I'm going to use them within the next 6 months. Usually with blanching, you want to do your vegetables, especially if you know you're not going to use it in 6 months or less, or vegetables that it's hard to retain their color and texture. Like green beans, I always blanch. What else do I always blanch? Green beans, like I have blanched collard greens before, but because I grow so many and because I'm always, you know, there's always a lot, I don't blanch them. You're more than welcome to, but I don't blanch them. I've never had an issue. So these will be washed up like 2 or 3 times, like triple washed, and then I roll them, and then I just cut them, and then I put them in freezer bags. And so usually I buy 2.5 gallon freezer bags for my collard greens, because again, I have so many. Instead of me doing like the small gallon size bags, I do them in 2.5 gallon bags and put them all in there. And so usually I can take one of those out, and that'll be like a meal or something like that. Because of course, you know, the collard greens shrink down. If I'm doing the gallon size bags, I usually need at least like 3 or 4. And so, yeah, it kind of all works out that way. So yeah, so let me get these, and let me think of anything else I want to harvest. I don't think there's anything else I want to harvest now. I got plenty of kale. Y'all, I got so much food out here. and I'm not complaining. But I have kale. I have a ton of lettuce that I cannot keep up with eating it. We have a ton of kale, and the kale I can freeze, so I'm not concerned about. And then we have bok choy, and then we have sage and cilantro. Those are the things that are ready. I'll come out here and get some sage later, but I don't need any of the other stuff right now, so I'm going to kind of let it be. So let's get this to the car so that we can take it in the house and get it ready for the freezer. So I did this later on, but I thought I would insert this part here because every time I've talked about collard greens, somebody or somebody's has always said, can you show us what you do with your collard greens when you bring them in the house? So this is what I do. So I put them in the sink with cool water, and I try to get to them that same day because otherwise the sink is like kind of out of commission if I don't. So I just put them in cool water until I can get to them, and that keeps them from going limp or wilting or anything like that. So I get them in cool water. I make sure that I use both sinks and wash them thoroughly. Now these greens are pretty clean. Obviously I'm still going to wash them, but there have been times when I've harvested greens and they've had, you know, they're not as clean. They have gunk on them or whatever. Real food comes dirty. We know that. But these are really clean. But I try to wash them at least 2 to 3 times to get everything off and look at every leaf, every stem, and all of that. Because once they go in my freezer bags, from there, when I pull them out, they'll go straight to cooking. And so I want to make sure they are as clean as possible and ready to cook when I put them in the freezer bag. So I'm just getting rid of some of the excess moisture so that my bag is not just full of water at this point. And so then I kind of just put them together like in a bunch and kind of roll them as much as possible. And then I just take my knife and chop in the rolled up fashion. You want to make sure that you chop them. Again, use whatever length or whatever size that you're accustomed to, but you definitely want to chop them. You don't want to cook your greens and they're like have not been chopped and they're too big. It's just hard for you to eat when they're not chopped to a reasonable size. So I just chop them a rough chop. I don't get too particular about it. As long as they are in a nice enough size that they are going to be chewable and enjoyable, then I just kind of go with it. And then I just take all of those greens and put them in a freezer bag. This bag that you see here is a jumbo bag. It's 2.5 gallons. I buy these bags from Amazon just because I have a hard time finding them locally in the store all the time when I need them. They do carry them at Walmart, but there's times when they have them and there's plenty of times that they don't. So I just always get them from Amazon. That way I know I can just always have them. And when I was doing these collard greens, I only had 2 of these bags left. So I used the 2 bags, which is a total of 5 gallons because they're both 2.5 gallons a piece. But then the rest I have to end up putting in gallon size bags, just like the regular freezer gallon size bags, and I end up using 4 of those just for the remaining. So that's why I like these bigger bags, because I can get more in there and it takes up less space, and then it prevents me from having all like 15 individual bags. I can have like 6 of these bags and lay them flat, and it just makes it a lot easier. I also use these bags when I'm doing my kale and spinach as well, especially kale or spinach that I'm going to use for smoothies and things like that, or even soup mix. I'll do in these big bags, and that usually works out really, really well. So to chop all these greens, well, number one, I'm so glad that I did not harvest all the greens today. I just didn't have it in me to do that much. But these 2 baskets, it probably took me an hour, hour and a half just to get them all cleaned up really well, chop them all, label bags, put them in bags. But I ended up getting 2 of the 2.5 gallon size bags. My husband came and put them in the freezer for me. So I'll show you a picture of those right here. And then the remaining filled up 4 regular size gallon bags, and you can see that right there. So you can see 4 bags versus 2 bags. So you better believe I went ahead and ordered me some more of the bigger bags. So back outside, I water the things that's in pots before I go back in, namely the fruit trees that are hanging out that will not be put in the ground into the spring. They are doing good. If you can just see like just the different shots of things as I've been walking around the garden, things look really, really, really good out here. I cannot be more satisfied. It's just things are just growing so nicely, which is a huge blessing. I'm very, very grateful for that. And maybe I'll do a November garden tour if we can get it in before November. With the holidays, I've already have a lot of content planned or recorded for you guys, so we'll see if I can get one in. But if not, I guess we can do one in December. That'll be just as good. But I'm watering all the stuff that's in containers. I come out here and water that maybe a couple of times a week, and I think this is my third time watering this week, just because the temperatures have been so hot. It's been like 70 to 75 degrees every day as the high, which means in here it's like 95, so things are drying out much more quickly. But in a typical fall winter situation, when the temperatures are fall and winter like, then I'm probably watering once a week. So it's just being watered again because the temperatures have been so high in the high tunnel, and just because of that. But things are looking good, so I get everything watered. I was gonna fertilize, but y'all, I just didn't have it today. I just wanted to, even though it was so pretty outside, I just did not want to spend my whole day in the garden. I wanted to go inside and just chill today. Plus my daughter's home from college, so I want to spend as much time. We're doing a lot of family time this week, which is awesome. Okay, y'all. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let me talk again about the Vego Garden giveaway. So today is the day the kickoff starts, or the giveaway starts. Is going to go all the way to December the 1st, and then I will announce the winner on that following day. I'll put a graphic up here so that you guys can see the dates, especially if I got the dates wrong. Forgive me. Go by whatever's on the graphic and whatever I post in the group. But here's how you win. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also subscribe to Vego Garden on YouTube, and then you have to comment below and let me know what are you most excited to buy, or what would you buy with a $300 gift card from Vego Garden. So the giveaway is a $300 Vego Garden gift card. Let me know in the comments what you would buy if you want it. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today as we harvested collard greens. I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. I think I'll have some more videos before then, but in case I don't, then I want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Spend time with those who love you and those you love. Remember, y'all, this is all a journey. And because of our work that we did earlier, we're now able to harvest collard greens for the Thanksgiving holiday. So I wish you guys well. Cannot wait to see you in the next video. And remember, it's a journey, but let's do it together. I'll see you next time, friend.